right, guys. So I'm gonna joke you in again. Just two in a row. My sources again. My sources are rock solid, guys.
Oh, they're never wrong.
They're never
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
I have my spies in Hollywood, and they're all up here. Make them all up, like any other YouTuber on the internet. So, according to my sources, Ben Grimm in the Fantastic Four movie has already been cast.
Okay.
And my sources are telling me that it's none other than Dwayne Johnson. You want to know why?
Because he's the Rock.
The VFX budget is super low because he's already a Rock.
Oh, guys, if you like that joke, come on back because we're.
I mean,
full of them.
He's already bald, so he could pull off the whole Rock thing. Like, just I don't know.
Yeah, man,
Make his head a little bit bigger or something.
we're living in a COVID era. Budgets have to come down a little bit.
I think he's committed himself to the enemy.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
Which
I'm actually pretty hyped for
No,
the Black Adam movie.
I'm really hyped for that. I mean, the shit that Boss Logic is putting out, like
Yeah.
as far as concept art goes, like Hawkman and all that shit, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. Gonna be good. So, welcome back. Another episode here, the Real Heroes Show. Corey, Nick, and Kevin here again. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe, like the video, turn on your notifications. That way you never miss another one. In today's episode, there will be spoilers for the entire series of WandaVision so far, which is up to episode 6. We're going to take what we learned in episode 6 and theorize what the hell just might happen in episodes 7, 8, and 9. All of my theories have been somewhat flushed down the toilet at this point, so I'm going to take the L, take it on the chin, and Nick, I'm going to pass to you because I feel like you're probably the most prepared out of the three of us for today. So,
So I like Elizabeth Olsen said, there's this Luke Skywalker type reveal.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know, even if some of the theories are right, with Fantastic Four being introduced. There could be some big names in there, but if it's one person that's being introduced as a Luke Skywalker-ish reveal, who might that be? And again, I don't. And Paul Bettany said there was an actor he really wanted to work with. He really hasn't worked with Evan Peters that much. I don't think it's him.
No.
I still think it's going to be Benedict Cumberbatch. They're both British. It kind of makes a little bit of sense. They really didn't get to work together in the MCU movies.
they haven't at all.
So I think that would be I think that's a big thing. Now, my second guess is, what if it's again, maybe a little bit of a stretch, but what if it's Victor Von Doom, played by maybe someone like Bryan Cranston? I don't know.
I just want Bryan Cranston to play anybody.
Yeah,
Just
he just needs to be in the MCU.
Especially after they just did a Malcolm in the Middle episode.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like
on.
it would almost fit the timing of it. So again, it might be a little bit of a stretch, but that's kind of what I've got. I think the other theory with things that get pushed out of the hex, if Wanda wants it to be pushed out, it'll appear as is, albeit altered, like Monica, who again we kind of also know that she's becoming Photon herself, because Darcy confirms that her cells are changing on a molecular level twice already, maybe a thrice time. My little pun Easter egg there. But I think with Vision, who almost died, they say it twice, but technically it will be a third time. I think they got that wrong, because Wanda destroys Vision, Thanos destroys Vision. That's 2. He almost died a third time because Wanda doesn't want him to leave.
Yeah.
Now, like we said in the previous video, he walked out of that hex with the Mind Stone intact.
Mm-hmm.
If that happens, and the stones are real again, even if it's just one, with the multiverse of madness, inevitably happening, that could mean that we get the 5 other Infinity Stones. And now there's a working theory out there. There's a working theory out there that every single commercial that's happened thus far is signifying an individual Mind Stone. This commercial says that it's like the sole survivor on an island that turns into a skull. Red Skull has the Soul Stone, and was it Volmir, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to think about that as an option. I would love if they eventually did that, because then you can actually have more characters that will eventually come out in the MCU with the Illuminati, each one of them being responsible for a particular gem.
Well,
but you could also have
Thanos is inevitable.
Well, Thanos could also come back, exactly, and I think for the sake of including Adam Warlock, who was super pivotal in the Infinity Gauntlet series, to have him be part of the Infinity Watch would also be very, very big. And again, I think this show just sets up everything for the next 3 phases of the MCU.
Yeah.
But also, who might her guy be? Well, we know it's a guy.
Yeah.
Again, I think it might be Victor Von Doom, but I think if it is Reed Richards, he's not going to show up by himself.
No,
The whole family shows up.
Well,
possibly. I mean,
at least the misses.
At least Sue Storm.
Yeah.
Don't play games with my heart here.
Hey, what if Chris Evans isn't coming back as Cap?
He's back as Human Torch. And then Michael B. Jordan shows back up as the Human Torch again too.
Oh my god. Wait, weren't you Killmonger, right? No, just kidding. All right, well.
All you have to do is play Human Torch in a non-MCU movie, and then you get cast in a great MCU role. That's the rule.
I think the other working theory is the cataract of a little play where you can see Wanda's eyes turn red. I know cataracts aren't red in real life, but I don't know if that was a hint at Mephisto. And Hayward's secret file was codenamed Cataract.
Yeah.
It means problem with Vision. We know there's a problem with Vision. He's probably working on Vision, when he was in the Sword facility. So I think we're going to see an actual alternate version of Vision by the end of the season.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say that for the last 5 years, Sword has not been studying Vision. They have been trying to
weaponizing
bring him back to life.
Yeah,
Vision Quest story.
Yeah,
yep.
Exactly. They
absolutely
they want him back, and that's why he's so pissed off, because he'd rather have Vision than Wanda. So Hayward is probably not Mephisto. He's probably, like you said in the last one, just a human asshole.
Probably.
Who's just doing his own thing, and not that dissimilar from Nick Fury. Early on when we were seeing him just stockpile weapons and get ready for a fucking invasion, which
very
inevitable
true.
Did happen. So
very true.
He's probably just following in those footsteps, and just with less charisma. If I had to guess, but
less Sam Jackson swag.
What you just said about Victor Von Doom, I had not considered, because I think of Victor Von Doom as a bad guy, but he wasn't initially.
Right.
Initially, he was a brilliant engineer. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to do the right thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
And so that's a really interesting point, because I've been on the Reed Richards train for a long time, and I'm still not necessarily going to say, oh no, it's not Reed Richards. I think it still could be Reed Richards. I think that you mentioned the thing that Paul Bettany said about there's an actor that he gets to work with that he always wanted to work with. Well, that is a separate statement from Elizabeth Olsen saying that there is a Luke Skywalker type cameo. Those are 2 separate statements. They could be 2 separate people.
That's true.
So it could just be like, oh yeah, I'm so excited I get to work with Benedict Cumberbatch, because I didn't get to work with him on the other films and all these other guys did. And then at the same time, she's sitting there going, yeah, but there's this huge character drop that you guys are going to see.
Yeah.
And you know, notice she said along the lines of Luke Skywalker. She didn't say Mark Hamill. So she's talking about character, I think, not actor.
Yeah.
So I think it stands to reason that it could be either of those guys. I think it could also still be Professor X or Magneto. You know, given that we have you know, both Wanda and Quicksilver.
Yeah.
We've got the Quicksilver whose dad actually was Magneto. Like, we've got all of the pieces in play here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we do need to introduce the mutants at some point.
Yeah.
So I got to still stick with my theory from last week, which is that this is the impetus for introducing Fantastic Four and X-Men and mutants in general, Deadpool, you know, the whole nine. However, I don't know necessarily exactly which one of those guys or ones of those guys it's going to be, but I stand by that reasoning. I think in the next episode or two, you're going to find out who Monica's friend is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't think that'll be saved for the last, because I think there might be an even bigger surprise for the last episode than that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cause she says like he'll be here in an hour.
Yeah.
So.
And that's going to be a cameo. I think that's going to be like a holy shit, now we got this guy, but that's not, I think, going to give us the answer to the riddle. You know,
for sure.
You know, so that'll be saved for the last. So
yeah,
I think we're still on track to really blow up the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the next couple of weeks. In a very big way. Yeah. What do you think, Corey? You got any new theories?
I think the one that I've had that still kind of tracks is Miss Marvel getting her powers from this, because as we saw in this last episode, the hex is growing.
Right.
And if they're in northern New Jersey already, they're not far away from Jersey City. If this reaches a point of critical mass where it just keeps expanding, because the end of the episode, it doesn't really show the expansion of the hex stopping. It just hard cuts into Wanda's eyes and then goes to credits.
Stops, right? Yeah.
So maybe that is still how Kamala Khan gets her powers. I don't know. Okay. I was surprised that, to go to the photon stuff that Nick was talking about, they had a perfect opportunity to say that your cells are mutating.
Yeah.
And they didn't use the word mutate. I was waiting for it. I was like sitting on the edge of my chair going, just say the word. Say the word. You know? Because then that would have been like full-blown confirmation that it's
absolutely
that's the start. But anything that happens to anyone in that hex from now on, I'm calling it a mutation, because that's what it is.
Or an inhuman.
Or an inhuman, you know.
But this actually opens up the idea that anybody in that bubble could end up being a mutant moving forward.
We've got just under 4,000 of them.
Got a whole bunch of folks in there,
and
a bunch of kids. They just swallowed
a whole bunch more in.
Mm-hmm.
So
the interest, because I don't look, if people don't know anything about the Inhumans, you know, they come from a city called Adelan from the Terrigen Mists. I don't know if they're ever going to do something like that from the comics. They might do their own spin, and I know people from the comics might be, you know, annoyed or frustrated or pissed off that they don't go the exact route. As a comic reader, as a Black Bolt fan, Inhuman comic collector to a certain extent, I'm not going to be super like pissed off about it, because again, if it fits and you tell a damn good story to make it work and be cohesive, then that's what I really care about, is having a good story. So
Marvel took a swing at that already once. For the TV show, and it didn't
that well. So. That was like a T-ball swing.
That was a train wreck. Yeah. We'll just that was a horrific rendition of it.
They might decide, let's just pretend like the Terrigen shit just isn't really a thing.
It's possible. I mean, I think that could be a theory where this is how Inhumans come to be, or this is how mutants come to be. The last thing I'll say very quickly is this could also be, again, the big Luke Skywalker reveal, which I think could also be Professor Xavier. But where were mutants hiding all this time? If you actually go back, the X-Men and mutants were in hiding this entire time. They only, were made relevant because Magneto and his Brotherhood started causing ruckus. So the X-Men had to reveal themselves.
Right.
You know, and maybe that's how, again, kind of going back to the comics where Professor X calls out to Wanda and says, like, this isn't real. It's just you and I.
House of M, right?
Yeah, it's your kids aren't real, right? And she's like, oh, no more mutants. And it's like, well, no, I want them to be real. So
all the mutants
are real. Now I want mutants. And then boom, here it is. So
yeah, again,
I still think that could happen. And I still think you guys are right where Professor X could be that big Luke Skywalker reveal, not necessarily Patrick Stewart, even though he is British, and something like that might be Paul Bettany's alley. We'll see.
Could be McAvoy.
It could be.
That's true.
They might go
in the
that
Fox
route.
universe. They've had both of those guys. They've had the old and the new X-Men characters
together.
Days of Future Past. So
or it could just be John Krasinski, and maybe that's why we haven't gotten a new episode of Jack Ryan.
He's been busy filming stuff for Marvel on the down low.
He's like apparently the fan front runner for Reed Richards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, I'd like to have either that or a new season of Jack Ryan, one or the other. Give me something, John.
I had heard him. I also heard that they're circling Joseph Gordon-Levitt for Reed Richards as well, which I'd be pretty down for.
Either way.
So,
yeah, I think he'd do a good job.
But yeah, I think, from a theory perspective, I'm thrilled that the show is going in unexpected directions, and it's taking stuff that at the beginning we were nearly certain things were going to go in a particular direction. Like I thought from episode 2, I was like, shit, they're really doing Mephisto. This is absolutely happening. Yep. And now there's only 3 episodes left and they haven't done anything with it. I'm kind of like, maybe they're not doing Mephisto. Like, who the hell knows? So we'll see. Or maybe Hayward is Mephisto because his degrees in his office were framed in a hexagonal format, and Ralph is Mephisto and Ralph is Agnes's husband, and maybe that's Hayward and that's why he hasn't shown up inside the bubble. Who knows? I don't know.
Yep.
But there's a lot. There's 3 episodes. They have a lot of mystery to solve, but the great thing about the MCU is that they don't stop. Everything just keeps going.
Yeah,
very true.
WandaVision can wrap up, but some of these questions don't have to be answered because they can be threads that tie over into Spider-Man 3 or Multiverse of Madness or Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel 2.
We've got King the Conqueror coming at some point.
Yeah, I would probably guess that you'll see your first glimpse of him in the Loki series, which is a couple months from now.
Yep.
So, and if Falcon and Winter Soldier is introducing Madripoor, which is kind of like a mutant hideout, if WandaVision's introducing mutants, like the possibilities are endless. It's like theories are turning into just like streams of consciousness and like falling down rabbit holes of, well, they can go here, they can go there, they can go there. Oh my god, this is crazy.
Yeah. The one thing I think we can all agree on is that Kevin Feige has the greatest job in the known universe.
He's a lucky man.
He is, but a lot of stress. Good lord, I can only imagine the stress.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck, can you imagine like in the Situation Room there, the whiteboard where he's got the whole fucking thing mapped out, and you're just like, oh.
But he also probably has enough money to de-stress himself in some ways. I mean, he might be getting like
personal masseuse.
Like IV drips, personal masseuse, like on like daily. I don't know if he does like CBD or THC or anything like that. But I mean, he could just be sipping on the finest liquors in the world too, and just sitting there back like
it's just called Pappy.
Yeah, Pappy. He might be drinking Pappy, just going, it's all coming to my plan.
I could just see him getting frustrated and being like, I need a new custom hat, and then someone just like off camera hands him a new hat and he just puts it on and feels better.
Hey, where's the Blade hat?
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Yeah. Mahershala asked for it. We're giving it to him, damn it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, anything else? Any other oddball shit you guys want to throw out before we, let this one go and wait another week until the next episode?
I will say it was really cool to see the kids come into their powers.
Yes, very
Young
much.
Avengers is happening. I don't think that's.
Oh god, yeah, no,
it's just more of like a
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, absolutely.
So that was a lot of fun. God, I'm excited about this next 3 weeks.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be good. Cool. Well, let's wrap this one up and go home. Guys, we'd love to hear your theories. Please leave them in the comments below. Go ahead, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, so that way you never miss another video from us. We will be back next week when we dive into what will be episode 7, and then our predictions for, sadly, the penultimate episode and the finale of WandaVision. Until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.